who's from the Economist Intelligence Unit, rather, the regional editor of that, and also Stephen Barber from London's South Bank University. Very good to have you with us here this morning, down outside the Houses of Parliament. Joan Hoey, what do you think this means for Britain's Brexit process? We're hearing there might be a delay at the UK's request. What's it going to mean for those negotiations?
Well, first of all, I think there'll be some schadenfreude in the EU. I'm sure Mr Juncker is dancing with joy at, not that they particularly care about who wins or how, but I think just the political turmoil and chaos, that's what they will enjoy.
But in pragmatic terms, is that actually going to make the negotiations easier or in fact harder?
I don't think they were ever going to be easy. My view is that if the Conservatives manage to form a government with the support of the DUP, either a formal coalition or with their tacit support in Parliament, that means that actually they'll have to take a strong position on Brexit, on a hard Brexit. I think that this favours the hard Brexiteers within the Tory party. And after all, we should remember that Theresa May called this election to get a freer hand to make compromises in the negotiations, and it was always the case that with a small majority she would be beholden to the Brexiteers in her party. So I think I wouldn't assume. I also can't see that Theresa May has any credibility going to Brussels. She may not resign today, but I think it's only a matter of time, and I would expect that Brexiteer would be the next Prime Minister.
Stephen Barber, can she hold on, and if so, for how long?
Yes, she can for a while, I suppose. I mean, she seems to have signalled this intention to remain as Prime Minister, and of course it's her constitutional right to remain until such a time as Parliament signals that it no longer has confidence in her government.
But the Brexit negotiations are so important, and without that mandate, which she said she needed, her position is very weak, isn't it?
Very, very weak. I mean, she started this campaign emphasising her strength and stability, and she's ended it looking rattled and indecisive, and without a mandate.
Those in favour of a hard Brexit, or those who'd like to see something else, a softer Brexit. What do you think about that?
Certainly, I mean, if she has a small majority, and in fact she doesn't have a majority at all here, but with the DUPs, she manages to get a majority in Parliament, it strengthens the 25, 30 or so hardline Brexiteers in that sense. But she doesn't have that mandate. She doesn't have that authority to go to Brussels and negotiate that kind of hard Brexit. So it's a two-edged sword.
Joan Hoey, for those watching and wondering, about Brexit and whether it's going to happen, I mean, is that a given that it definitely will happen according to the timetable, however messily that process might be?
Brexit is going to happen. There's been the vote. There's no way there's going to be a second referendum. I don't think that's on the agenda at all. So Brexit is going to happen. There may be a question mark about the timetable, and obviously this introduces a lot more uncertainty into the process, and I think it also raises the risk of a breakdown in the talks, if my interpretation is correct, that this gives greater power to the Brexiteers.
So anyone in Europe, any politicians in Europe thinking that maybe this pushes Brexit into the long grass, well, that's wishful thinking.
Again. Yes, they can think again.
Stephen Barber, just in terms of how we've got here this morning, I mean, what went wrong for Theresa May? She was riding high in the polls just a few weeks ago.
She was. I mean, one of the main reasons she called this election was that she was facing and looking at a 20-point opinion poll lead, and she's kind of thrown it away with a poor campaign, a campaign that didn't seem to have very much material to it, beyond this idea that she was strong and stable. There was big mistakes with the so-called dementia tax, and meanwhile the opposition Labour Party, which had appeared to be in a sort of state of almost terminal dysfunctionality, ran a pretty credible campaign.
Joan Hoey, just final word from you. Is that the big surprise of this election, that Labour, that had been sort of written off under Jeremy Corbyn, have done much better than anyone expected?
You've got to give Jeremy Corbyn credit. He's faced down all his critics in the media, including in his own party, his own MPs. He ran a good campaign. He came across as authentic and honest. He's mobilised the youth vote. He had a bold manifesto. It's a tale of two leaders, this election campaign. Theresa May, whose campaign has been disastrous, too many U-turns, the triple whammy in the social care the triple lock and the winter fuel, no doubt lost her votes. And she was robotic and lost the plot, really.
Joan Harry of the Economist Intelligence Unit, Professor Stephen Barber of London South Bank University, many thanks to you both.